Ooh. But you see, you don't know that you're the sacrifice. Yeah, that's the joy of being the sacrifice. You don't know it. So yeah, so getting back to this idea, and I'm not really happy as the action figure that it came to this, because it turned what I was looking for became the last answer, which negates any need to be looking for any other answer. And the mental activity likes to be looking for stuff. Yeah. And the most noble stuff in my conditioning to look for was spiritual stuff. Yeah, it was. That a lot of meaning was provoked through spiritual means. You know, my spiritual life was more important than washing the dishes or work, you know, or receiving and giving love in a sense. I had no time for that. I was busily, you know, attempting to, you know, become what I possibly could be, but as what I'm not, which is the whole freaking joke, really. You know, so I'm saying no to love because I want to arrive at love. It makes no sense. But it's persistent. It's a very stubborn drive, yeah? Because we much rather look for something than to be it. You know, as the mental process is. Because the mental process is an activity. It doesn't want a completed, what's always inherently so. It has no interest in that. It wants to become and unbecome. That's its drive, yeah? It wants to become and unbecome. That's the engine of the mental process, that gnawing drive, and it's expressed in time, obviously. Time is its expression. Yeah, it needs time to become and unbecome. There is no need for time in the sense of being. There just is, yeah? But in the sense of becoming and unbecoming, you need freaking time. You need time to become what you want to become, and you need time to unbecome what you think you are. You're not that which you want to unbecome, but you believe you're that, yeah? So people believe they're a loser, so they don't want to be a loser, and so all their activity of not wanting to be a loser produces the feeling of being a loser a lot more than being a loser. You know, you'd have more relief if you were really a loser than when you're afraid to be a loser. Afraid to be a loser produces a lot of sense of, or like afraid to be a fraud, you feel like a fraud constantly. You know, if you accept that everything's a fraudulent here, it's much easier to travel. So the mental processes, and you know, if you had a relief, if we have a real relief from body, you'd realize how dominant the body idea is. I mean, everything is based on body. You know, completely. It's just completely based on body. You're seeking comfort for the body. You may call it for you, but you want that pillow not for you, but for your fucking ass. Yeah? Because the ass is going to bother you, and then you're going to be bothered because you think you're the ass. It's just the way it goes, really. You know? So there's a drive all the time to get relief. It's fine. It's meant to, yeah? Because it's perplexing, because even when it does its best and it gets everything lined up and everything is like, I have money, I have emotional security, I have sexual satisfaction, I have all this, at 9 in the morning, 9:01 comes, and then things can change. So it's very difficult to get anything that's volatile to stop being volatile. And of course, the volatility expresses through time, yeah? You can catch something now that seems to be stable, but then a minute later, because of time, it can seem to be unstable. Yeah? So it's not a winning proposition to be dependent on conditions that are volatile in and of their nature. It's just crazy to try to manage it all. Yeah? So the idea of being a body, like we always joke about it, but you know, there are groups. I did it myself when I was with the Course in Miracles. It was obvious that body identification was a big culprit here. Yeah? I just knew it. So I was really keen on the lesson, I'm not a body. So I'm not a body, I am free, for I am as God created me, something like that. And I would chant it almost. And my girlfriend at the time, we'd sit there and go, I am not a body, I am free, for quite a long time. And you could join like a 3-day thing of chanting, I'm not a body. But the only thing that wants to not be a body is the body. The body is the only place the desire to be not a body comes from. So the 3 days of chanting I'm not a body really reinforced that I'm a body. That's what's so mind-boggling. The so mind-boggling is your attempts to get out give the reality of being in. And you can't get out of that dynamic. You cannot escape that dynamic. Yeah? The observation, what's observed is distorted by the observation. We're the observation. Yeah? So immediately there's meaning given to what's observed, based not on what's observed, but on the observation of it. Yeah? So we are making reality all day. And some of us, because of the addiction rooted in identification as a body, the addiction to what constantly is implying that you're a body, assuming that you're a body, referring everything about life to you as a body, the mental processes, the brain, the thought system, the memories, the perceptual interpretation, all of that is constantly in the activity of being identified as a body. It has to, because you're not a body. So you have to, that which is not a body has to believe in what's being presented all day to have the sense of being a body. The sense of being a body isn't natural, it's produced, right? You didn't have a sense of being a body when you were a baby. You were just fucking whatever, going crazy, There was no sense. There wasn't. It took a while for it to formulate. And then the idea is only an idea, but it gets presented constantly to what we are, which is reality, yeah? And so the reality is the only thing, there is no illusion except if the reality believes it to be so. Then there's an illusion, yeah? It can't have any, there's no legs other than the ones that are being given to it by us. So, I mean, really, if you look at the thought system, some research says there's 70,000 thoughts a day. Some say there's more. I mean, what are those thoughts up to? Yeah, do you need 70,000 thoughts to navigate a day in Marin County, Saturday? No, maybe 20. Coffee, Chibos, go maybe here, go home, and then you have mental security. There's Agendas in the refrigerator. You've got video, Netflix, Amazon Prime. You're all secure with your entertainment, so you feel like you're on top of time. So what are all those thoughts up to, or what are they being used for? They're not being used to navigate the day, obviously. Because you don't need that many to navigate the day. They're about what? Reinforcing the idea that you're a body. You're constantly being thought about as a body, and you're constantly thinking about everyone else as a body. Oh, I'm not thinking about her as a body, but you're thinking about her as a doer. Where does the doing get expressed or demonstrated? Through the body. You're thinking her as that or this. You see her. You watch a movie, I watched Michael Keaton in that movie, what was it, Spotlight or something, I don't know. The guy, he had it was a movie last year. So you see Michael Keaton, the actor, all movie, and then he gets into an accident, and he's in the hospital, and his nose is broken. And he looks totally, you say, that's not Michael Keaton, just because his nose was moved about a half an inch over. The perception sees Michael Keaton as a fucking body. If the body changes, wow, look at what's happened to Michael. But it didn't really happen to Michael, did it? Like we were talking about a friend of mine who died of AIDS, and I saw him waste away. And I knew Jamie this way, and then I saw Jamie that way. But what, did I actually see Jamie? No, I saw a body. But because I assumed Jamie is the body, Jamie looks fucking terrible. You know what I mean? Jamie is really fucked up. And the thing is, because I see Jamie as a body, because I'm seeing myself from a body. You're not in a specialized place and then see everyone else as a body. Like this one lady in Chicago, she called me and said, oh, I've been freed of the ego, but it's everyone else's ego that's bothering me. I said, well, that's not how it goes. It doesn't go that way. It doesn't go that way. You know, if you see it clearly, you're not a body. It's implied to be no one's a body. It's not like, oh, I'm not a body, but you motherfuckers are bodies. It doesn't go that way. It doesn't stay as an isolated thing. It gets collectively expressed. Yeah, everything falls under its statement, just like, you know, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. Yeah, that's an incredible, comprehensive statement. It has all and everything in one sentence. You can't get out of it, yeah? And so after a while, here's some more people coming. So we got a dog also. Come on in, yes. This is the daycare center. Daycare and dog care, yes. Take care of everyone. Yeah. So what I feel humbly is, if there is any direction in this, there's no need to waste any time describing what we are. There's need to describe what we're not, so that what we are, as what we are, can recognize it's not that. There's no point to try to convince what you're not that it's not that. It doesn't go anywhere. Has it gone anywhere? It hasn't. It gets stumped immediately, and it gets mutated into a weird way of trying to get another advantage in life as a body by using non-duality. Yeah? So now you're like, oh, I didn't really fuck you over. There's no need to fuck you over. All this stuff, you know, it's the same drive, and now it comes to this little subtle invitation. And how can I use non-self to be a better, more advantageous self, really? So the message, after years ago, I realized there's no point in talking to you about this at all. It's throwing it over your head, because I humbly believe that we're mind, you know, or whatever. We're like a huge, ever-present state. So therefore, there's no specific mail slot that you have to deliver the message to. You just throw it up in the air, and everywhere catches it. It does, because it's everywhere. Yeah? And instead of throwing it to you with the hopes that you're going to go, oh, here everywhere, because no, you're going to go, make it and then give it to it. Yeah? You're going to make it into something and go here everywhere, and then it's like everywhere goes, what? It's the same fucking shit. So no, the message isn't to you. The message, as Hawaiian Po would say, is you're speaking to the Buddha, and you say it to the Buddha, hey Buddha, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. That goes somewhere. You can't go to Steve, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, because Steve will go, I'm not using the Buddha, I'm using Buddhism to seek the Buddha. And from the logic of Steve as a starting point, it makes freaking sense. Because Steve has inherent real conditions that Steve intimately is aware of, and Steve would like to get a little bit more less Steve, but still be Steve. Yeah? It doesn't want Steve to go away, it wants Steve to get better, and it's figuring, I heard about Buddha and he was chilled out and he took poison because someone offered it to him and did all this stuff. Hey, I want some of that. Obviously I can't entertain them as my own qualities because I'm Steve, so what? I gotta use Buddhism. I don't want to use, like, you know, Kabbalism, because I want the Buddha. I want the qualities of the Buddha, so I'm going to use Buddhism to seek the Buddha. It makes total sense, doesn't it? And you can meet a lot of people that will agree with you, because they'll be at the meetings with you. And then we go ahead, and then we do stuff that's totally uncomfortable as the body. You ever see the retreats? I've been on some retreats. Not in the East, because they don't have fucking pillows. But in the West, they have pillows, and you walk in the first day, it's very austere, beautiful, very nice zendo, with one little pillow on a square, and then there's a square there, there's another pillow. You could have a perfect setup here, like this little color, put a pillow, and everyone goes there, humbly sits down, takes off their jacket, gets their ass, and starts sitting. 3 days later, you come in, there's fucking mounds of pillows all around. They've made a whole space. They're trying to lift their right cheek away because they can't bear it anymore. They've been sitting for 13 hours, which is totally uncomfortable for the body. So the body condition is dominating the whole retreat, completely, yeah? And then some people go, what the fuck? I don't care about my spiritual pride. I'm laying down. And then you hate those people because you want to do it, but you don't want to be seen as the one who did it. You're going to meditate until you fucking drop because you got spiritual pride in a sense, yeah? Oh, man. I did this one at this one place. It was great. I did it. I was there like 17 days. So in the 11th, and it was like a silent one, but it was at Spirit Rock. I call it the upper middle way, very high class middle way. At Spirit Rock, you'd see a teacher, and in the morning, and then you're on your own basically. And I just do qigong in this like car lot and shit. And then you meditate basically 7 hours a day, 6 hours walking, 7 hours sitting, so to speak. Yeah. Every day. And then at night, but there were sumptuous meals, like 3 times a day. Like incredible gourmet. At night, 6 o'clock, so everyone would be walking around quiet, mindfully, and then doing walk meditation, and they move towards the place, the food place. So one day I got there early. I walk in with my hands like this, and they put out ice cream. It was the first time. And ice cream was right there. In my mind, I saw the ice cream. So I went to my seat, sat there, and I watched everyone come in. And some of them looked so serene. As soon as they saw the ice cream, the 11th day of retreat was out the window. Their minds started to connive. Should I get the ice cream first? I can't wait till everyone else gets it. So some of them went right up, got the ice cream, brought it back to their sitting place, then got the food. It was amazing. 15 days out the window of equanimity. Just, you're not gonna fucking change that source code. You're not going to convince this that it doesn't have free will. It's pointless. You're gonna have an experience of free will when you go to the coffee shop. You're gonna get a mocha. I'm gonna get a soy latte. I don't want to have a freaking milk latte. So immediately it seems like, why would you want to confuse the system? It's a simple fucking Toyota. You're not meant to give it a crazy idea that it's something way beyond. It's just going to drive it crazy. And it doesn't like the word awakening and enlightenment because it knows it's not. It's just painful. Why do I have to go to another fucking meeting? All I want is to go talk with someone, hopefully get a date here, and to go to coffee. Yeah, it's just really. So the point is, this humbly I came to this. There's no point talking to this about the message. Yeah, so what I noticed, that's why we have a lot of meetings, because repetition is helpful here, because it's like that Death Star in Star Wars. It shoots down most of the fighters, but some of them get through. And all it needs is one of these messages to get past your little mental defenses, which are fucking unbelievable. It's like, but one gets through, and if the Buddha hears, the Buddha can't be looking for the Buddha with the Buddha. It's very clear to Buddha, like incredibly clear. Like takes no time. It doesn't demand any more study. It doesn't come back every 3 years for debate. It's just like bing, totally being convinced. Hey, yes. And then suddenly, what it did with me was when that got through, what it did was inform me how much of my life was exactly explained by that statement. I had been using the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Or as we say in recovery, self can't get out of self. When I realized I wasn't self, I didn't realize it. It's always realized, but when it's somehow one moment, it seemed to be more obvious than other moments. It made it very clear that what self means to me is a foreign installment, and I'm not talking about ego. It has nothing to do with ego. It's that feeling that's presented as the one who has the ego and the one who lost the ego. That feeling of ownership or doership or beingship, yeah? That which is rested on the idea of being a body, that to me is selfing, yeah? It's not ego. Ego is an objectification of selfing by selfing. Yeah? So it's sort of like goes into the post office, puts up a picture, most wanted, and it's the fucking biggest thief of all. And it's, oh yes, this is what we have to get rid of. No, you don't have to get rid of it. It has nothing to do with you deeply, yeah? So when I saw that I wasn't that, you know, in a moment of whatever, the next possibility, I swear, and I had gone, you know, it's like Sauron searching for the ring, that all-seeing eye in the Middle Kingdom. I had gone over every fucking niche and corner of what's offered in the mental state. All the possibilities, all the this, all of that. And I never found this. Because being identified as the object that's being obsessed around in the mental state, the possibility of being free from it is never offered. The possibility of being free as it is constantly offered. It really wants you to go and try to be free as the system. With the system. That's its drive, because it's the greatest place to hide out. In trying to get out of it, you're more in it than ever. Yeah? But I saw it as not me. And as soon as I did, the sense, the possibility I can be free from it showed up. Like that. It had always been there, but it wasn't there while I was there. Yeah? While I was seemingly formatted by the selfing, that possibility of being what you're looking for was not fucking available. Not one freaking moment of it. Yeah? It says maybe you will be what you're looking for if you do all this shit, yeah? Or maybe once you were what you were looking for, but you did all this shit to exile you from it, but never that you are what you're looking for at all times with no requirement necessary to meet it because you are it, yeah? And to realize that we only have one possibility concerning this, and that's being it. There's no experiencing of it, there's no knowing it, there's no studying it. All the studies should be of what you're not. It should never be pointed to what you are. It all gets to be fucking, you know, quantum physics mind candy, yeah? But it doesn't do anything. It's just something, it just doesn't work, yeah? But if you see what you're not, what happens is you lose interest in it. Yeah? You lose interest in all that's supporting the story of being what you're not. Now, if you try to lose interest in what you're not as what you're not, that's interest in what you're not. See? That's its little, that's how it, the system presents exits, but they're not exits, they're entrances. Yeah? It says it's an exit, so all right, I'm going to, 2 years I'm going to go to a losing self-obsession class, which could be construed as self-obsession. Yeah? Hey bro, how are you? Yeah? What's going on? There's your hat. What have you been doing? Just being, right? That's right, bro. You're the head of the class right here. Yeah?
Put him in a chair.
Do you have anything to say to these poor people? They've been looking for themselves for a long time.
That's the answer right there. Poor people.
My master, after all these years. I've been dreaming of you. You're a little taller, but hey. You had gray hair and a nice beard, but I'll take you.
He once had a gray hair.
Right. I think we just should stop now, huh?
Just keep on talking.
Yeah. And this is, see, if one thing I found as this action figure, you'll never get gypped again. You won't believe for a second that you could be out of a moment. You won't believe that you've ever exited what you can't exit. Yeah? It just won't happen anymore. You'll just be here while you're sleeping, while you're doing everything. You're just completely here. Yeah? All the time. With no thought or effort. It's just, in other words, to me, the realizations are not something you drive into like a parking space. You back into it. Really. You don't see it happening. Yeah? You don't see it happening. It reveals itself after you're parked. Yeah, yeah. So, and then what happened with me is it revealed the whole structure of what supported this idea of what I'm not. Yeah? How could that which I am search for itself all these years? How could that which I am try to get out of itself through drug addiction all these years? Yeah? How did it never see the impossibility of trying to get out of self as self? I didn't. And I was open, I thought. I did a lot of stuff, and not one of them brought me to that recognition that you are what you're looking for, but it's the looking for it that defeats the purpose, eh? Yeah, this kid's...
Better adjusted than his dad.
All right, now put your hand in his pocket. Take the money, and if there's any keys, take them. Especially if it has a circle with a thing on it, Mercedes. I don't know. I don't want to say much anymore. That was a great demonstration. Yes. What more do you want, really? Yeah. Imagery is much better than words anyway. Words are just attempting to produce an image in you. An image that's always held because you're it, yeah? This message isn't difficult. I really have a lot of faith in mind. I don't believe, especially every night we go to sleep and everything has been dismissed anyway. The most heinous thing I've ever done was erased when I went to sleep. Yeah, and the greatest thing supposedly I ever did was erased. Yeah, it's all neutralized. And if that can seem to happen then, how can you not entertain the possibility that that's truly what's all happening? That this is truly, this awakeness is the dreaming. Yeah?
It's the dreamer.
There's no dreamer, there's dreaming. It's all activity. There's no dreamer. There's no nouns to be found. There's no cause. There's just dreaming. No entrance, no exit. You and I, like that's the old Buddhist book, The Wisdom of No Escape is my motto for February or January. You're not going to get out of here as here. Yeah? The dreamt object is not going to transcend the dreaming, because it's the only place it appears. Yeah? If the dreamt object appears and says you've gotten out of the dream, that's dreaming. It never can get out of the context of what's happening. So I think it brings a little lightness to your day. Yeah? So you don't pin so much hope on Saturday. Really, because it's gonna fail you. And then you'll compare it to other Saturdays and you'll find it lacking, and same thing with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. So there's a great chapter in the Course that says all these paths, and people are making non-duality a path, so all these paths, if they're worth their salt, are going to lead to a realization, I need do nothing. Yeah. So why not just start at I need do nothing? You're going to get there anyway. You might as well start there. So that's that, eh? What's happening? We're going to be home. I think we're going to be here for a while. Yeah? Yeah. Not here, but here in the area.
Not another place?
No, we haven't. We're nomadic now. Oh yeah, cut it off. No personal.
You know,